Hi guys, so this is just a quick update to my last video. In my last video, I was discussing, that I was having these cravings for savory pumpkin dishes. I was having company coming for the weekend, not sure how to combine all the things. And so here's what I did. I ended up going with meatloaf as the main dish, and I will post that recipe below. It's a recipe that my daughter found. It's now become my go-to recipe for meatloaf. And I did do the big tray of homemade mac and cheese, and I did the pumpkin pasta sauce on ravioli. Again, my theory being, if anybody didn't want to try the pumpkin because they were intimidated by that or whatever, that they would have options. So that was all well and fine. And the weather was a little debatable for a while. It looked like it was going to rain on Saturday. I had kids come from Huntsville. Like I had my daughter, my son, their girlfriend and husband, and a whole house full of people as usual. So I was debating whether to do it in the oven because it was supposed to rain during the day Saturday. But then the weather ended up being beautiful. It didn't rain till like after bedtime. So I did it on the smoker. And it's a Gravity, some number. It's charcoal, grill, and wood chunk smoker. So then I decided, well, if I'm going to run the smoker, I might as well do both the meatloaf and the mac and cheese on the smoker. We've done it before. Always turns out great. Smoked macaroni and cheese, I'm telling you, takes mac and cheese to a whole new level. So I had the macaroni and cheese on the main grill part, the big part, in a pan. And then there's two trays that are above, or two racks. And so I put the mac and cheese on the rack above, which I've done before. And it was almost done. Everything, was cooking away and whatever. I went to check the meatloaf temperature with my thermometer, and the rack that the mac and cheese was on tilted forward, and the whole tray of mac and cheese went all over the deck. And I just kind of stood there looking, and I thought, well, whatever. So, people started helping clean it up, get it off the deck, put it in the garbage, and I thought, okay. So I told everybody, I said, anybody that doesn't want to try the ravioli, now you've got meatloaf and coleslaw. Those are your options. But I think some people tried the ravioli that wouldn't have if the mac and cheese was there, and it was really good. I got compliments. I didn't have anybody that didn't like it. My complaint would be there wasn't enough pumpkin in it, in my opinion. I couldn't taste pumpkin. I would not have known it was pumpkin. There was only half a cup in the whole recipe. I think it should have been at least a cup. Note for next time. I will post recipes down below in the description box for the meatloaf, the ravioli, and I think the pumpkin soup. I really messed with the pumpkin soup recipe, which I made for the Sunday. I made it on Saturday, but we had it on Sunday. Because I took a few recipes and combined the ingredients. So I'm not sure that I'll post that recipe. It did turn out good. I made the sourdough and I threw pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds in it. And it actually turned out good too, which I was a little nervous because I've never done that before. It wasn't a recipe. It was just my own toss stuff in. So I would do that again. I'm going to probably practice more with that. So the weekend went great. The weather was awesome. We had a wonderful time. We were able to have a campfire. We spent almost all the time outside. It was fantastic. So just wanted to update you. I did go with the pumpkin soup. I did go with the ravioli and pumpkin sauce for my two pumpkin dishes that I was craving, savory pumpkin meals, not desserts, not muffins, all those things. So unfortunately, I had only got the two pumpkins, but you can use squash. I don't know that there'd be a lot of difference between pumpkin and some of the squashes. So I may experiment more with some of these recipes because in the fall, these are the start of the things I feel like I get cravings for. And I put sage and rosemary and garlic and onion and I don't even know what all in these dishes. In the soup, I also put ginger, I don't know, cinnamon, nutmeg, like just the fall flavors. And I was really happy with them, except I would amp up the pumpkin in the pasta sauce. So the recipes that I feel are somewhat similar to what I made, I will post in the description below. And let me know if you try them. I would love to know what your experience is, or with any other pumpkin dishes that you'd recommend. I'm still debating the pumpkin gnocchi at some point. It's just a lot more carbs than I really like to consume, but we'll see. Don't think there's much else I have to tell you. So Friday night, that's when the kids were coming. They worked all day, so they weren't going to get here till like 9 o'clock or so, even later. So I wanted to have something for them, but not a meal, because I knew they'd grab something on the way. But I made 2 dips. So I made a taco dip, just the regular cream cheese, sour cream, mixed together with salsa and cheese, and then you can throw whatever vegetables or whatever you want on top of that. That's a no bake. It just goes in the pan and you let it get cold. The other one was a jalapeno popper dip, and I'll put the recipe down below as well for that, because it's actually one of our favorites, and it is one that you bake. It can be eaten at room temperature after it's been baked. That's not a big deal. It's one of our favorites as well. So I had those ready with Tostitos and whatever. And then Saturday we had the meatloaf dinner. And then Sunday afternoon, because they were leaving right after lunch, we had the pumpkin soup and the homemade sourdough bread with the pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. So it all worked out well, and we had a great visit. Everything went well, and even when the macaroni just dumped all over the deck, I just like, oh well, like, you know, and everybody's asking me like, Mom, are you upset? Like, are you, like, no, I don't, whatever, what am I going to do? You know, there's no point getting upset. It happened. It was kind of funny. I was just careful that I didn't get burnt, because I could see it starting to tip and I couldn't grab it. And some did land on my foot, but it would have been the whole tray. And I think that would have really hurt, because it was hot and it was creamy and sticky and whatever. So other than that, you know, those things become the stories that you tell later on, and that my kids will probably tell their kids and whatever. You know, you get upset at the time and there's no point, because it's like, you can't do anything about it. You laugh it off. You becomes part of your family history and the stories that you tell. So I think I don't have a lot else to say. The Mediterranean diet's going fairly well. I've been a little off the last couple of days, not feeling the greatest, but just, again, still using up leftovers. I've got quinoa I need to use up. I'm going to throw some kale out of my herb or garden bed in that and make a salad. I have spring greens that I need to put in. I'll put in with it. Just, you know, just using things up. This morning I had yogurt, homemade granola, fresh blueberries, and then I threw hemp seed and some of the toasted pumpkin and pumpkin and sunflower seeds that I had toasted on top of the ravioli. Threw some of that in with a drizzle of maple syrup. It was good. I'd like to, again, try smoothies this week. That's something I want to get into, because I really can pack a lot of greens in there and not feel like I'm eating salad for breakfast. The lentil olive soup is hands down, by far, my favorite new recipe since I started this Mediterranean diet. I can't even tell you how much I enjoy it, and I gave some to my daughter to take home. She had it for lunch yesterday, for her work lunch, and then had it for breakfast this morning. So she asked for the recipe. So that's going to be one that I will repeat over and over. I think even without the olives, it would be good, but Man, if you like olives, you need to try this because it is so good. So good and so good for you. Yeah, but I think that's all I got. It's nice and sunny, not that warm. Thank goodness it was warm all weekend because we had a blast. But you can feel it starting to shift a bit, but still sunny, which I love. Like with the leaves and the sunshine, you can't get much better than that. Anyway, gonna let you go. Don't know when I'm gonna post again. I'm going on a road trip probably Thursday into next week. Just again on a bit of a tour to visit some of my other kids. So I don't know when the next video will be. I'll try, but if not, I'll be back.